Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another video, and this is the 8th video in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, X-Men, The Age of Apocalypse, Sugarman Build-A-Figure. This is the video for the Build-A-Figure itself, Sugarman. So we are going to put this thing together, review it, and then we'll kind of do a little quick ranking of the wave in my own personal ranking. So let's put this thing together. I have no idea kind of how it's going to be together, so we'll do a couple things. I guess first we'll start with the head, which connects to the body, as you can see. So we're just gonna port that on there. It's just gonna go on there or not go on there. It's kind of rubbery face kind of thing. Okay, so you want to port it in kind of from the bottom peg first and then push it in there. So now we have that kind of going there. Let's get this back piece put on here. Again, this is just that kind of hard plastic piece that just will slip in because we want to make sure that we get the overalls. So we want to work it that way. You can see that he is quite large. I want to get those suspenders up over the shoulder piece right there, and then let's plug in the arm. So the fist goes on the bottom as part of the bottom set according to the images. The pointing finger goes to the top. I'm not really hearing any clicks getting them in there, but I guess it goes in. It's just really ugly looking, man. The open holding hand for the hammer goes in the lower shoulder. Again, these arms they're not really clicking in. They're going in, but it's not really clicking in. So then the open hand goes on the top shoulder. It's in there, but you don't really hear a click. So we get the arms. This guy's actually quite large, wow. And we get the legs. The legs are easy. Just port them in like so. His tiny short legs. Let's see how well he's gonna stand. Port the other leg on there like so. And here we have Sugarman. God, he's an ugly one. He's got really good size to him though, but he's very back heavy, but because it's hollow, it's not a problem to getting him to fall forward or anything like that. Very odd character designs for the entire Age of Apocalypse storyline, and Sugarman is definitely no exception. Now this is the second figure for Sugarman that has been released. Toy Biz released one in some kind of monster line. I don't know how well it's scaled. I think it was a lot smaller than this. I can't tell you for sure, but I know that there was a figure that was released. So let's get in for a closer look at this guy. If you're just tuning in and looking at this on maybe your big screen TV, that is an ugly ass sight that you guys probably have and are looking at right now. Because this thing is just ugly looking, but there's some really cool things on it. So I had mentioned in one of the videos earlier, just the lack of paint on the arms just looks kind of funny because they're kind of shiny looking, so it just reminds me of like a sweaty pig kind of look to it. It's just kind of funky. But on the face itself, there's some really good paint apps that are going on. So we get a little of this like maroon purpley eyeshadow that's kind of going around with his orange eyes. Now the white that you see is simply the reflection of my lights going. There is no white pupils, they are just all orange. He's got horns on there which are done in a beige color, but it looks like there's a little bit of a wash in there to kind of give it some textured look to it, so that is kind of nice. The teeth, they're beigeish white, not really white. They're not sharp either. I guess they're kind of sharp, but the good thing is they're not too soft, because the face, head, the way they do it is a little soft, but the teeth aren't too soft. We get some shading under his nose, right on his upper lip, so it's not really like facial hair, but it is a shading that's going on there. We get a little bit of a wash on that tongue as well. So it's kind of cool how that comes out. Now I looked up some information on him that his tongue's supposed to be kind of a razor sharp and do all kinds of things as well, and it's supposed to have some crazy length to it, but we just get, you know, it stuck in that one little pose there. As far as paint apps, the face looks really good. There's really not paint anywhere else. On his suspenders here, we get a couple of things. I don't know if those are supposed to be certain logos or anything, but that kind of reminds me of the Deadpool logo. But those just look like buttons that he has there. We get some silver buckles right there on the suspenders. Silver buckle on the belt there. Silver on this buckle on that side of the suspenders. Nothing really going on in the back. My buddy Derek, Plastic Soul Collector, had pointed out how he was wearing the exact same thing as Duke Nukem. Maybe that was something in the character design when he was made. Not really sure. We get some wash, or some shading I should say, right here on his back. But we don't get that shading anywhere else. I think it would have looked really nice for the arms. It just kind of looks funky that we didn't get that for the arms. A couple of things. We got some rings here. We have the wrist strap or bracelet there. It's same kind of buckle pattern of his suspenders. So we get some silver there for the buckle. Each hand actually has one of those bracelets or wristbands. This hand's got all kinds of rings. Nothing on this hand, and then this hand he's got one ring as well. So there we have that. Here for his only accessory, we have a hammer here. I think a lot of times he's shown with a hammer and with an axe, but here we have the hammer, and there's some heavy marbleization going on in there, and I think it works on this type of thing, you know, where you have something that's silver. So like a hammer, a weapon, I think the marbleization ends up looking pretty good. And you can see it says sugar kind of engraved on there. No paint on the handle or anything. And yes, it does look like Mjolnir. It is not Mjolnir. It is a hammer. So that looks pretty good. Now let's see this guy's articulation. Okay, so for articulation, he has no head movement, so we're not going to get into that. We're really going to be focusing on the arms. So you can position the arms to where you can get them both to go down. It's just a matter of how you position the shoulder ball up there. You can get in a full rotation, but it's just getting it into that certain part right there to really get the arm down. But you can get the arm to go out that much, straight out. You get the other one to do the same. Looking at the other one, that is how far out you can get those shoulders to go up, and then you can get them to go back down. Each one arm is basically the same. You get the upper bicep swivel. Each one actually has a double jointed elbow, which works well, as you can see there. Both working the double jointed elbow just fine. The wrists swivel, and the hinge that goes for each and every single one, and it's the same on the left. No ab crunch, of course, but we do get a waist swivel in there, so that is decent enough. The legs, he's so top heavy, it's hard to kind of hold him in this position. You're only going to get the legs to go out that far apart, which really isn't a whole lot. He can kick forward that much, which really isn't a whole lot. You can go back a little bit, which really isn't a whole lot. There is the upper thigh cut, of course. That's where the leg connects itself. We get a single jointed knee, which gives us hardly any bend at the knee. So that was it. So we can actually almost like hyperextend, it seems like, and then just that one single bend there. There is, of course, a swivel at the knee since it is a single joint. Foot hinges all the way down. We get some hinge up, not a whole lot. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet, and ankle pivot. So decent, I guess, for this guy. Not a whole lot going on for him. One thing that he does have here on his belt, though, it looks like he can hold his weapon. However, I'm not sure how that would really work. You kind of have to stretch it out to make it work. Nah, that's really not going to work. You would think, like, if he came with his axe or something, you know, he could do that and like store the weapon, but I'm trying to like bend the hammer, the handle of the hammer and stuff to get it in there. So I'm not really sure what was going on with that, because it seems like he should be able to hold a weapon, but he's not really going to be able to hold the hammer. The only hand that he can actually hold the hammer with, though, is the right lower arm. And that's what he's actually pictured with holding it and stuff. You got to work it into his hand, because the hand's kind of made of hard plastic, so, you know, there's not a whole lot of give to it. But that's the hand that you're going to use to hold the hammer, like so. Now let's see him with the rest of the wave. And before I show you guys Sugar Man with the rest of the wave, here he is next to the Marvel Legends Stan Lee figure, and a huge size difference between the two. And here is Sugarman next to Apocalypse. Again, we will get a new Apocalypse filled figure in the deluxe line with new accessories, new paint, everything. But here they are next to each other with the Hasbro Apocalypse that they've given us so far. Now let's see Sugarman with the rest of the wave and the Reiki. Okay, and here are all the figures from the wave together, and a very interesting wave. I think it's an interesting concept that Hasbro has given us an entire wave where it's focusing on a single storyline. I'm not sure that Hasbro's done that before. I know they've had themed waves before, you know, maybe with MCU. You know, we had it with Black Panther Wave 2. Things like that. Some of the old waves, like there was a Fantastic Four wave, but nothing I think that was specific to a single storyline. So it's really interesting that this whole wave, you know, will there be a wave 2? We don't know yet. I would imagine that there would be, just because Sabretooth missing out. They've got to be giving us that figure since they gave us the Wild Child. I'm not sure that they're banking on everyone having that old Toy Biz figure. It just doesn't seem likely to me, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. That could very well be the case. But an interesting wave nonetheless. I think the highlight to this wave, of course, is going to be the Build-A-Figure. Aside from the Build-A-Figure will be the Dark Beast figure. If I were to rank this wave and kind of what I like from it, it's kind of hard to say, you know, taking the Build-A-Figure out of the equation, of course, because I don't like to do that. My number 1 would, of course, be Dark Beast. Number 2, Sunfire. Number 3, Xman. Number 4, Weapon X. Number 5, Morph. Number 6, Jean Grey. Number 7, Wild Child, because that Wild Child figure is hardly anything to it. It's basically an accessory for Sabretooth that we don't have, so it's kind of weird. I forgot to also mention that collar is actually glued on, because I kind of tried to pop it off and it was like cracking, so that collar is glued on. So that's my ranking for the wave. It's a very interesting wave. You know, more X-Men figures, the merrier. So I am happy with it, but you guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of the Build-A-Figure itself, what you think of the wave, and how would you personally rank it. I'm curious. Put that all down in the comments below. If you guys like the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified when all new videos go up. And as always, thank you guys for watching.